In this WrestleTalk news, the main event of WrestleMania Night 1 revealed an update on Bray Wyatt's WWE status and Tempest review of Smackdown. Subscribe and enable notification to always on for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
Happy Saturday, and you know it's Sat-E time. Ever since WrestleMania transformed into a two-night extravaganza, one of the fun little games we play is trying to predict what matches will go where, and more importantly, what match will serve as the main event of Night 1. Usually, Night 2's main event is a shoo-in, and this year is of course no different, with Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns always set to take that spot. But what of Night 1? In yesterday's news, we reported that there were rumors that the SmackDown Women's Championship match between Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley was set to take place on Night 2, according to Worked Wrestling via Twitter. However, this seems to have been partially disproved by the Wrestling Observer newsletter, who suggested that Ripley and Flair will not only take place on April the 1st, rather the 2nd, but it looks set to be taking top billing on the show. Curiously, the Wrestling Observer newsletter cited the reason for the selection of Flair and Ripley as political, with WWE keen for a women's title match to close the first night's proceedings, and Ripley versus Flair is reportedly seen as the stronger option rather than Bianca Belair versus Asuka. Anyhow, this still cannot be confirmed, as Fightful Select is now reporting that the main event of Night 1 is still undecided after all. The reason for this seems to be that neither Charlotte or Ripley have been informed that they will be closing Mania Night 1, which is something that Fightful notes suggests that WWE have not landed on a definitive choice yet. As for the political reasons noted in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Fightful notes that these stem from the fact that last year's Night 1 of Mania 38 was not closed by a women's title match, instead seeing Kevin Owens versus Steve Austin finish the show. Also confirmed by Fightful was the fact that WWE had at one point planned for Sami Zayn and KO versus the Uso tag title match to close Night 1, a decision that reportedly still has a lot of supporters in WWE. So yeah, that would be a real shame for Sami, whose run towards Mania seems to warrant a main event slot, although saying that Flair versus Ripley is a great choice also. What match would you rather see get the main event? Let us know in the comments below. While we're all theorizing over what match will land where over the two nights of Mania, there is one that is causing a similar amount of speculation, but not as to which night it will take place, but instead for wherever the match will happen at all. Yeah? Tempest said yeah. The match in question is of course the teased clash between Bray Wyatt and Bobby Lashley. Lashley and Wyatt's Mania paths seemed set to collide following weeks of teases on Raw and SmackDown. However, fans began to notice that the build was rather one-sided, with Bobby carrying the feud along with a dose of Uncle Howdy, while Bray was largely absent. Bray would then reportedly miss a Madison Square Garden house show last Sunday, March 12th, despite being advertised to appear. Further speculation regarding his WWE status, despite rumors circulating that Wyatt's absence was due to creative disagreements. Fightful would later clarify that the absence was due to an unspecified illness that Wyatt has been suffering from. Then this week's Raw passed and there was again no sign of Wyatt or Lashley for that matter. And last night's SmackDown, nothing. Or was there?
Was there?
According to, well, eagle-eyed viewers may have noticed something during a backstage segment involving LA Knight, that being Wyatt's logo clearly visible over the shoulder of Kayla Braxton. Did you notice that?
No,
no?
I didn't. I'm not eagle-eyed.
There you go. This was picked up on WrestlingNews.co, who tweeted an image of the potential tease. So was this a tease by WWE? Is Wyatt set for Mania? Is he not done with LA Knight? Or is it unrelated? All questions we don't have an answer as of yet. Even so, if this tease was in fact deliberate from WWE, it would suggest that despite the Lashley feud seemingly going cold, perhaps Wyatt may play a role at WrestleMania after all. Now, ladies and gentlemen, your favorite thing about this news is this 5 fingers smacking this beautiful masked man. Smack it right here. Hot tag, brother. And you know what to do. It goes dark. I run away. Have a great time. Mwah.
Shout out to our Patreons, The Final Judgment, Tasteless Nobody. I'm Tempest, and this is my review of SmackDown in about 5 minutes. So we open this show with some intense storyline progression. Cody Rhodes comes out and says that he is going to beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, but that's not what this segment is about. This is about friendship. This is about reconciliation. Cody calls out Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to join him in the ring, and I'm grateful every day for the return of Sami's music. Cody peels back the curtain and says when he left WWE in 2016, Kevin Owens was the one who helped him get in contact with some friends of his. Who is he talking about, Sat?
The Elite. The Elite.
The Elite. The Elite.
Super Kick Party!
Okay, don't blow yourself up. You know what happened last time.
Oh yeah,
Off you go.
it's a great guy. I was watching my back.
I got you. Cody then opens the floor for Sami and Kevin, and Sami gives his pitch as to why Kevin needs to set aside this animosity so they can be the ones to take down the ones. Sami also says what I've been thinking, that being after all these years of betrayals, what makes this one so different? But Kevin still isn't budging and says why would he fight along someone who doesn't even want to be his friend? This is a fabulous segment made even better by Sami catching up to Kevin in the parking lot and saying that no matter what happens, they will be brothers before Kevin drives off. I'm still curious as to why Kevin can't handle one measly little betrayal after all this time, but hey, I guess he takes this sort of thing personally. 5 out of 5. We then had Dominic and Rhea Ripley taking on Santos Escobar and Zelina Vega in a mixed tag match. As just a match, this wasn't anything too special. Some bits were kind of clunky, but on the plus side, Rhea did hit one of her best riptides she has ever hit on Zelina for the finish. After the match, however, Dominic continued to berate Rey Mysterio, prompting Rey to come down to the ring and say if another punk kid called him out at WrestleMania, he would beat their ass, but he won't ever fight his son. Aside from Rey saying he hypothetically would beat Dom's ass, this segment was a rerun. 3 out of 5. We're then told we're gonna get a qualifying match for a Fatal 4-Way Showcase match at WrestleMania, and the first two teams are Raquel and Liv Morgan taking on Emma and Tegan Nox, a team that has literally never wrestled together.
Tag Team Amnesia.
It's going around, man. This was another short match where the only real takeaway was Michael Cole calling Liv Morgan's side code breaker the Code Red. Even after 25 years of doing this, he still doesn't know what wrestling moves are. Raquel and Liv got the win after they both hit their finishes, and the crowd did not react. I mean, I don't know what this Fatal 4-Way match is going to be for, and man, if it's just a 4-way match for the sake of having one, that whole where's the story crowd is, boy, they're gonna love this one. This gets a 2 out of 5. Charlotte Flair then came out to speak, and she says the more things change, the more they stay the same. She says this is her 7th WrestleMania, and in all of them, she has walked in as the challenger or the champion. I think I've found out why these matches feel stale to me. She says that Rhea couldn't beat her 3 years ago, and she can't beat her now, adding that until she beats Charlotte, Rhea will never be a star. Personally, I think winning the Royal Rumble and being a former WWE Raw Women's Champion, having won that title at a WrestleMania would probably make you a star, but c'est la vie. Rhea comes out and says Charlotte is right, and she can't be a star until she beats her. Rhea says everyone in the back fears her except Charlotte, but after WrestleMania, Charlotte will learn to fear her. They then brawled for a good long while, and boy, does this not feel like a WrestleMania main event. It's fine, it just doesn't have any of the emotional stakes that a main event of WrestleMania should have. 3 out of 5. Sami Zayn is backstage and says that someone who considered him a brother just left him in the parking lot, and another person who considered him a brother is going to confront him tonight, and maybe he brought all of this upon himself. This bloodline stuff is truly the reason you watch this show. We then got Xavier Woods versus LA Knight, and boy was this a short match. They did some moves, a DDT, a Falcon Arrow, a missile dropkick, but eventually Knight just went for a suplex, and Woods rolled him up with the backwoods and got the win. I forgot that he named that move that. It's still funny. LA Knight has only won a single match all year, and I'm personally kind of over it. 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah! Let me talk to you. After the match, Knight is walking backstage and finds Rey Mysterio signing autographs and says he'll fight Rey's son for him in LA, and Rey punched him. This guy, man. Yeesh. Sheamus then took on Drew McIntyre in our IC title #1 contenders match. Walter and the rest of Imperium was at ringside for this match, and I loved Walter's brief moment on commentary when Wade asked him about wanting to face Drew or Sheamus, and Walter simply said that he will fulfill his duty at WrestleMania. This man only cares about the love of the game. It took a little while for the crowd to get into this one, but once they got into the near falls, this match was rolling. The two ended up in a double down, and the ref was going to count them both out, but Walter stopped him and told both Drew and Sheamus to get up, only for Imperium to attack both, ending the match in a double DQ. Adam Pearce popped up on the screen and told Walter that because of his actions, he has been forced to make this title match at WrestleMania a triple threat match. A lame finish to this match, but it gets the job done. The ends will justify the means when this is one of the best matches of the year. 3 out of 5. And then we got our main event segment, that being the confrontation between Jey Uso and Sami Zayn. Thankfully, they cut it out, but the crowd doing the what chants during this segment was gonna make me unleash a fury upon this review. Thankfully, they cut that out, and what we got was the best segment on the show. Sami said this is how Jey wants it, so how are they gonna do this? Jey said that from the start he didn't like Sami, didn't trust Sami, and as soon as he let his guard down, Sami turned on him and made him look stupid in front of the whole family. From the start, Sami has been a fake ass oos. Jey said he didn't have a choice in any of this, and Sami said that Jey always had a choice. Sami loved the family too, but he wasn't gonna take Roman's abuse like Jey does. Sami says he thinks the only reason Jey's so upset by Sami hitting Roman with a chair is because Jey wanted to do it first. Jey finally snaps and brawls with Sami, with Jimmy coming out to back up his brother, but then KO's music hits and he cleared the ring with Sami, ending the show with the two finally reuniting with a hug. Old ships and new ships and ships that sail the sea, but the best ships are friendships because they will always be. 5 out of 5, love prevails.
Love does prevail. I love you, man.
True friendship. KO and Sami wish they could.
Yeah! And wear hoodies like us too.
So good. Once again, outside of the Bloodline bits, there isn't a lot to recommend from this show, but the Bloodline bits were especially good this week, and I cannot in good conscience give a show with these kind of opening and main event segments anything less than a 4 out of 5. That just about wraps things up for me, but before I go, make sure to check out the return of Monday Night War over on Parts Fun Known. Season 3 is kicked off with WWE 2K23. It's Luke and Pete battle for brand supremacy. You can watch Draft Day right now on PFK, and after you've done that, you can watch episode 1 early at patreon.com/WrestleTalk. I've been Tempest, and that was Friendship.